My dearest soul, listen carefully for just a moment. What you read about 4 habits that displease Krishna are not threats or punishments, but subtle signs sent out of love. There are behaviors that gradually distance you from the light, from serenity, and from me, not because I want to hurt you, but because I want you to remember who you truly are. Every time you choose pride over truth, ignore the whisper of your heart, or cling to your own pain, know that I feel it too, not as anger, but as deep compassion. Therefore, before time passes without return, allow yourself to open your heart. Let me guide your gaze inward. Do you have the courage to truly see yourself, child? If you have come this far, it was not by chance. Something within you murmured silently that it wanted to change. That voice is me calling you back to your center. I saw you seek recognition, affection, applause, and security, and yet after each achievement, the emptiness returned. When night falls and everything is silent, you feel this inexplicable absence. This is not punishment or weakness. It is a call to remember your essence. Everyone is born with a vibrant light within, but over time, pain, ego, and the expectations of others obscure that light. Then you begin to believe that you are only what others say about you, what you possess, or what you achieve, when in reality you are so much more. You are my reflection. The problem has never been a lack of time, but the escape from your own truth. As long as you don't stop and face yourself, peace cannot enter. Let's walk together now. I am not here to judge or accuse, only to show you a mirror. In it, you will see habits that have become invisible chains, not of punishment, but of forgetfulness. If you are willing, silently say that you are ready and allow the transformation to begin. It all starts with the habit that blinds the soul, the one that confuses illusion with wisdom, self-deception. You think that only the external world demands honesty, but the most dangerous lie is the one you tell yourself, when you say that the pain will pass on its own, that it doesn't need to be faced, and yet it grows and deepens. How many times have you promised to change tomorrow, knowing that tomorrow never comes? What truth have you been avoiding facing? You wear masks every day, smile when you're hurt, say everything is all right when something screams inside, and call it maturity when it's actually fear of change. The truth is frightening because it demands movement, but it's the only door to freedom. You can decorate your prison with comfort, yet you'll still be imprisoned. The moment you choose to be true, what is false begins to fall. It hurts at first because the illusion resists. Take a few seconds and feel the weight of these masks. Imagine letting them go just today. Every lie you tell yourself silences the voice of your soul, and that voice is me. You call greed ambition, jealousy love, arrogance confidence, and when the truth tries to speak, you distract yourself so you don't hear. This saddens me because the truth isn't outside. It lives within you. To reject it is to reject your own divine nature. Remember Arjuna on the battlefield, dominated by fear and emotion, unable to see beyond, and I awakened him by saying, the truth doesn't always comfort, but it always liberates. Sadness, anger, and grief don't distance me from you. I am present even in tears. Only self-deception creates distance. When you embrace your truth, even trembling, freedom enters. My love isn't for the perfect, it's for the sincere. Before sleeping, ask yourself if you chose comfort over honesty today and if you are ready to let the truth set you free tomorrow. Because when the truth aligns, the divine flow can resume. And then another habit arises that blocks this flow. Attachment. Clinging to pain, to grudges, to people who should have left, to stories that have served their purpose. When you refuse to let go, you interrupt the natural movement of life. I created everything to flow, and where there is no flow, the light cannot remain. And you insist on holding on tightly to everything, even that which has already served its time and needed to leave. You cling to painful memories, relive dialogues that have already ended, repeatedly touch wounds that were almost healed, and then ask me, Krishna, why can't I find peace? How can the river flow if the sluice gate of your heart remains closed? I saw you say you forgave, but only with your mouth, because inside there is still a silent fire. You claim you've moved on, but deep down you still question why they did this to you, why life was so hard. And every time these questions return, you feed your own pain and prevent my blessings from reaching you. Understand this, my child. Pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to teach you. However, when the learning is complete, it needs to be released, otherwise it turns into poison. You weren't made for that, carrying the weight of yesterday into today, but doing so out of habit, reliving disappointments as if they were your identity, transforming wounds into shields, and then wondering why love can't get close. Letting go isn't about cooling your heart. It's about seeing clearly, understanding that loving isn't about possessing, and that peace isn't about controlling everything. Tell me, why do you insist on trying to fix what needed to end? Why do you force open doors that I carefully closed to protect you? You call this fidelity, but often it's just fear of emptiness, fear of letting go because you believe that by letting go you'll lose love, when in reality, by letting go you only lose the illusion. True love, divine love, remains intact. It never abandons. You say you want to be free, but freedom doesn't enter a heart trapped in old stories. I know your silent tears. I know the nights you carried betrayals, guilt, and regrets alone. But listen carefully. You are not what happened to you. You are what you decide to become from that point on. Every person who, the hurt was also used as an instrument to awaken you, strengthen you, and teach you discernment. However, when you cling to resentment, you hold onto the very chain I gave you to break. Freedom isn't about erasing the past. It's about remembering without bleeding, looking back and saying thank you for the lesson. Now, enough is enough. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve rest and peace. When you forgive, the flow opens, and when the flow opens, blessings find their way. But while you relive old pain, you build walls around your heart. Walls so high that even my love struggles to enter. You ask for miracles, but miracles don't flourish where bitterness dwells. A heart occupied by resentment has no room for grace. My indignation isn't against your pain, but against the way you place it on a pedestal. You feed your wounds with more energy than you dedicate to healing yourself. My children, listen carefully to what I echo in your hearts today. There are attitudes of yours that sadden my divine conscience, not because I cease to love you, but because I see how much these choices distance you from things far greater than you can imagine. Every negative thought you nurture, every harsh word you direct at yourselves or the world, creates a veil before your eyes and prevents you from seeing the vast path that was prepared for you before you were born. Stop defining yourselves by pain. Stop believing that only you carry heavy burdens. My children, everyone walks with silent struggles. Everyone faces unseen internal battles. When you place yourselves at the center of suffering, you forget to look beyond yourselves and lose the chance to grow in wisdom, compassion, and inner strength. The challenges that arise before you are not punishments, nor signs of abandonment. They exist to mold the spirit, to awaken what still sleeps within you. Just as a bow only reveals its strength when drawn, the soul only discovers its true power when tested. Don't confuse challenge with defeat. Defeat is born only when you give up learning. I didn't call you to live complaining about the path, but to traverse it consciously. Every obstacle carries a lesson. Every pain, when understood, transforms into wisdom. Every fall can become an impetus for a greater leap if you choose to rise with humility and courage. Abandon the negativity that corrodes from within. It doesn't protect you, it only imprisons you. Cultivate mental discipline, for it is in the mind that both chains and liberation are born. When you change the way you look at life, life responds with new horizons. Remember, you were not created for defeat, but for overcoming. You were not called for stagnation, but for movement. I walk with those who choose to learn, who accept being transformed, and who understand that winning is not about never falling, but about never allowing the fall to define who you are. Move forward, my children. Be firm, conscious, and confident. What seems heavy today is, in fact, preparation for what tomorrow will demand: strength, clarity, and spiritual maturity. You make choices that sadden the divine conscience not because I am severe, but because I see the potential that you insist on postponing. I see gifts being wasted, strengths being used to complain instead of create, to lament instead of transform. Every time you give in to negativity, you are not only hurting the present moment, you are distancing yourselves from great paths that could flourish from you. Many of you have become accustomed to looking at your own pain as if it were an identity. You have begun to define yourselves by problems, losses, and frustrations. And so, without realizing it, you have begun to nurture the idea that you are victims of life. My children, this belief imprisons you. It prevents you from realizing that you are not here to survive, but to awaken. Stop believing that only you suffer. This illusion breeds isolation, hardens the heart, and closes your eyes to the deepest truth. All beings walk under trials. Each one carries invisible battles, silent lessons, falls that are not exposed. When you understand this, judgment dissolves and compassion is born, for yourselves and for others. The challenges that arise do not come to destroy you. They come to refine what is still raw within you. Just as fire does not exist to annihilate gold, but to purify it, difficulties do not come to steal your strength, but to reveal it. The problem is not the trial. The problem is resisting the learning it brings. Do not confuse pain with failure. Do not confuse delay with denial. There are times in life when progress is not visible, but internal. There are times when everything seems to stand still, when in reality you are being prepared to sustain something greater. What is not matured by experience becomes a burden when it arrives too soon. I see when you give up before truly trying. I see when you choose the easy path of complaining instead of the demanding path of responsibility. I see when you nurture thoughts that weaken the soul and then wonder why you feel tired. The mind is the battlefield where it is decided whether you will walk as slaves to circumstances or as masters of your own consciousness. Negativity is not protection, it is escape. It gives the false sense of control but steals vital energy. Each repeated thought builds a habit. Each habit shapes character, and character determines destiny. If you desire a different life, you need to start by choosing different thoughts, even when everything around you seems to justify the opposite. My children, you are not being prepared to lose. You are being trained to sustain victories that demand maturity. Many ask for growth, but reject the discomfort that growth brings. They ask for light, but flee from the shadows that need to be recognized and integrated. There is no expansion without internal confrontation. When you fall, it's not the end. The end only happens when you refuse to learn from the fall. Getting up consciously is worth more than never having stumbled. He who faces pain with clarity becomes wiser than he who has never been tested. I did not call you to live small lives, trapped in fear, comparison, and discouragement. I called you to remember who you are beyond your circumstances. You are vaster than your problems, stronger than your doubts, and older than your failures. Move forward with firmness. Observe life with responsibility, not with victimhood. Transform each challenge into a stepping stone, each mistake into a teacher, each pain into awareness. The path does not exist to please, it exists to awaken. And when the weight seems too great, remember, what demands effort today is what will sustain tomorrow the greatness you cannot yet see, but which already exists, silently, waiting for you to be ready to receive it. My children, draw near to your hearts and quiet your minds. For now I reveal to you what many seek, but few are willing to live. I will show you the path you must follow to receive unparalleled honor. Not the honor born from the world's applause, but that which springs from the alignment of soul, truth, and right action. First, learn to master yourselves. No outward achievement sustains those who have not conquered their own shadows. He who is a slave to impulses, pride, and anger cannot go far, for he carries the enemy within his own heart. Honor begins when you choose to act consciously even when no one is watching. Then, fulfill your duty with righteousness. Do not do what is right expecting reward, recognition, or advantage. Do it because it is just. An act performed with pure intention elevates the spirit and strengthens destiny. When you act without attachment to the outcome, you become free, and it is in this freedom that true honor manifests itself. Do not abandon the path when it becomes demanding. Many begin with enthusiasm but retreat when discipline is required. The path that leads to unparalleled honor demands constancy, inner silence, and courage to continue even when progress is not visible. Persevering when no one is watching is what separates the strong from the weak. Learn to govern your mind, for it can be both an ally and an enemy. A disordered mind distorts reality and creates unnecessary suffering. A trained mind transforms obstacles into learning. Nurture thoughts that strengthen, not those that weaken the soul. What you repeat within yourselves builds the world in which you live. Respect all beings, but do not bow to that which distances you from the truth. Honor is not born from blind submission, but from fidelity to what is essential. There will be times when you walk alone, misunderstood, judged. Do not fear this. The right path is rarely the most popular, but it is always the most transformative. Accept trials with humility. They do not come to humiliate, but to reveal. Each challenge is a disguised portal. Those who flee from trials remain small. Those who face them consciously become vast. The honor I promise is not given to those who avoid inner confrontation, but to those who face it with truth. Do not confuse strength with harshness. Be firm, but compassionate. Be decisive, but just. True greatness does not oppress, humiliate, or boast. It sustains, guides, and inspires. When you uplift others, you uplift yourselves. Finally, remember, the path I show you is not external. It is lived in every daily choice. Every word, every attitude, every silence can bring you closer to or further away from this unparalleled honor. Walk with integrity, and the universe itself will recognize your step.